Boom, chicka, boom, chicka, boom, chicka, boom, chicka. The Grateful Brothers are back in the house again. It is Tuesday night. It is 7 p.m. And you know what that means. It's time for gratitude. It's time for gratitude. And we got a power-packed show this evening because we've had events to transpire recently to bring us even more gratitude than we usually have. Tonight, we got four brothers, four stories of faith, and how it held us down in times when we thought everything was going to crumble. How God turned the situation around at the last minute. And I know if you're hearing this, you probably have stories that are going to pop into your mind also. I want you to put them in the comments. We want to share them. Why? Because the testimony to what faith can do for you will show what it can do for other people. So before we even get into any details and get into the good stuff tonight, I want to go around the horn to find out how my brothers are doing. Greg, talk to me, man. What are you grateful for tonight?
Man, I just want to say this. Not every day is going to feel like peaches and roses or whatever, rainbows and unicorns. I woke up this morning. It was a weird night and I was feeling weird. And I was telling my wife about this dream I had. And she's like, "What are you grateful for?" I'm like, "I don't know right now." Like, it's when you're focused on it,
Felt that.
it's easy, right? But like when you first come to, it's kind of, you're getting your bearings. You just had this weird dream. You can't tell if it's reality or not. The dream was kind of disturbing, and it takes a minute to get back into that frame of mind where like, okay, I'm awake. That's more than a lot of people can say today. I got this house. This is cool. It wasn't until John sent that reflection that I was able to have some gratitude. The reflection was talking about looking at a time past where this life you're living right now was a dream, was something you really wanted. And when I look back, oh my gosh, I'm living like the dream right now compared to where I was in past relationships with the old the reactive I don't know, the dude that was in and out of anger management all the time, could not control his temper, was explosive, kept getting in trouble, was always in and out of court. That's not my life today. Today, people tell me my voice calms them. I'm grateful for that. Today, I'm a safe space. I used to be the person people kept away from because of the explosive anger. It took 9 anger management classes to get this. My sister got me a shirt that says my anger management class pisses me off. And it was true. So I'm grateful for the man I have become and am still becoming as this journey's unfolding. And we talk about that faith. That's the thing that this is, the kind of topic for today is that faith that keeps us. I'm grateful that persistence, like as long as I have breath in my lungs, I can keep going. And if I'm feeling pain, it means I'm alive to feel it. So that's a cause for gratitude in itself.
And can
What
we
about
start
you,
passing
John?
the robe early? Because I mean,
Never too early.
it's never too early, right? Come on,
It's
Greg.
never too early. I was trying to do something special for the robe tonight. It's gonna come in a second, and Greg will definitely have it. Just want to let y'all know.
That's what's up.
Well, I'm gonna pass the mic to John. How you feeling, John?
Blessed and highly favored. Appreciate you guys that I'm here. I have a simple piece of gratitude today. I sent out. I'm very communicative with my kids and stuff. I try to reach out a lot, but there's one in particular who seldomly responds to any kind of correspondence, and he replied to my message I sent yesterday morning. He replied. I sent it yesterday at 9:00. And I'll read this real quick to you guys because it's not long. It says, "Morning, son, I pray that everything is well with you and Issa, which is his girlfriend. I said, I wanted you to know that I love you. I'm proud of you. And I hope that you have an amazing week." He replied today at 5. He said, "Thank you, Dad. I love you so much." And put a few emojis. But even though it's simple, sometimes we I don't know. I feel strongly that we spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to do something versus just doing it. And it doesn't have to be complicated. Just send a simple message. I love you. Hello. I see you. Something, just something. Just if that person pops up in your mind, just send it. And obviously for me and you guys as well that have children, and you guys listening out there, if you have any kids, you can probably relate. You know, our kids are just everything to us. So but yeah, that's what I'm grateful for. What about you, Brother Rod? What's going on tonight? What you grateful for?
Man, I'm grateful for a lot. I'm grateful for you guys. I'm grateful for having my family. I'm grateful for being able to experience pain.
Mm.
I got a story to tell on that a little bit later, but yeah, that's a recent revelation of mine. I didn't even realize that there was like situations where people actually don't feel pain. And it will alter your reality in a bad way, believe it or not. You think it's a superpower, but it's really a weakness. So so yeah, man, I'm feeling grateful. Just I don't know. I don't have a lot to complain about, but what I will say is that even when I'm in a space to complain, practicing gratitude has taught me to just absorb it for the moment that it is and not to mislabel it. We mislabel things all the time. And it's like, why is this happening to me? Well, if you labeled it properly, then you probably know at least that it's not happening to you only for your bad. Right. So I'm grateful to not be in a position where I'm mislabeling things like I did once in my younger youth. So that's what I'm grateful for today.
That's real good. Things happen for you, not to you.
Yeah.
Period. But it's one thing to say, it's another thing to be woven in that fabric.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even that it happens through you. Because if all the pain you experience helps one person to not have to go through it, then it was all worth it.
It's easy to say when you're not in that pain, though.
Oh, I know. It's easy to say on the other side.
You don't go through it.
But that's the interesting part about it, right? Because the fact that we've been able to, let's just say, survive certain lived experiences, we can now say from the other side, hey, it's okay. You know, I lived this. I had a conversation with my daughter. I was babysitting yesterday, my grandbaby. And, you know, one of the things that I did my best in tactfully explaining to her is that she's not going to fully understand. And what do I mean? Very quickly, what I mean is the way she is with her baby now, it's because she doesn't have a second baby. And for those parents that know, when you have your first baby, that's one thing. But when you have the second one and you can no longer attend to the first one the same way, the dynamics change. Do you understand? So, and again, we don't think about it or correlate it to pain, but it is anguish and despair for a mother to have to not attend to her child. So just to put a little bit of context into that. Brad, you're a little too quiet. What you grateful for today?
I'm always too quiet, man. It goes off of I was gonna say something completely different, and then Rod shared what he shared, and it caused me to take what I was going to say and go deeper. I'm grateful for the fact that you brothers came out, spent so much time from at least Thursday to Saturday this past weekend. Had a wonderful event out there at the Miracle City Men's Ministry at the church, and it went very well. Got a lot of good feedback, a lot of positive momentum. Those were the things I was grateful. I was gonna say, but I recall, and this is something I haven't shared with you guys. There was like a remorse after it was over. The reason why I state that is because in my mind, I knew each one of you were leaving. And I knew that what we just experienced was so impactful, not only to the men we ministered to, but to ourselves. And it set us up to really take a peek at what it is we're offering and how it can grow from there.
Mm.
And so when we disbanded and we didn't have anything, like right up next on the calendar, I was like, man, then like my in my mind was like, when are we gonna do something like that again? And I felt remorseful about that.
Mm.
And in addition to that, y'all know I told you guys I had a tenant move into my house. So I had to pack up the little stuff that I had that I was gonna take for the summer up out of there. To which during the process of packing it was slow because I was feeling that remorse. I was feeling that drag. And I was just like, man, like, what happens now? Like, this is really how I was feeling.
Mm.
And then my folks opened the door for me to stay with them while my house is being rented. And the type of reception that I got from them, the type of place I'm staying in right now, it really hit a new depth of gratitude because a lot of people could not make the decisions or do what it is I've done thus far. They won't do it. I know some people won't. And I know that what I am dealing with right now, what I'm building, what I'm practicing with this craft, with gratitude, what I'm doing in my side business, what I'm doing in this new profession that I'm in right now, all of it is building momentum towards me being my ideal self. Because in each aspect, I'm serving my fellow man as best I can.
Mm.
And that's very, very meaningful for me because my parents are that way. Both of them served in their profession. One was a social worker, one was in education. They served the community. And now I really feel like I'm doing that. And that in itself brought such a sense of gratitude that I can't explain it, man. It really hit a new depth of it. And I'm glad to be experiencing it. I'm glad to be experiencing it with you, brothers, and being able to articulate it. Because before, I probably wouldn't have told nobody. Y'all know how it is. I probably just kept it to myself. This ain't nobody business. It's just something that I go through. It was a current of emotions that I was canoeing alone in, and I had to tell nobody else about it. And so now that I'm sitting here tonight with you brothers after everything that has transpired, can I tell you how many lives we're going to change, how many lives we're going to impact? I just been thinking about all the types of things we can do, the retreats, the newsletters, the information that we put into the community, the content that we can come up with, finding out that there's a whole community of single mothers who are raising boys who don't have men to turn to teach their boys how to become men because they certainly can't do it, and them opening themselves up to us. Like all of that has just been flooding my mind, and the possibility of the impact we can make, man, I am grateful.
Man, that actually, so just you saying that and going deeper made me think of when my wife asked, what am I grateful for? I didn't even we just go through events in life and things happen and we just, it's just kind of expected. Like, oh, I knew that was coming. Oh, it's over now. And, it's not here anymore. So you just out of sight, out of mind. But going to DC with my brothers, being able to impact a room full of men with our stories and passing that mic and seeing from long pause before answering and then saying just one thing that I'm grateful for to the whole room sharing testimonies that are incredible, and then turning around to get on a flight to watch my oldest son get married to the love of his life and have a beautiful wedding reception. The family's huge. I think there was 150 people and they were all family. I don't think it was any friends. It was just family. And even if it was friends, they're family now, right? But just you wake up the next morning and it's like back to work, back to the grind, back to the hustle, back to life. Okay. But there's not that time to really sit and soak in what just happened and the magnitude that ripples past that moment. So it really, it blows my mind that wasn't the first thing that comes to mind, or that's not the thing I said when you said, what are you grateful for? How many of us, if that's just me, Mr. We're the grateful brothers. We're supposed to be filtering life through a lens of gratitude. If that's me in this state, this is what we're giving to people and it's still hard for me. How is that for people that don't do that on a regular basis?
Yeah. That's an interesting point you bring up, Greg, because First of all, I'm not gonna brush past that little nugget you just dropped. That's why you got the robe. The robe looks a little different today, guys, but
It's a
it's
special
still there.
robe. It's a special robe.
today.
We love
But
it.
for those of you who don't know, just look in the bottom right corner of Greg's screen, you'll see it. But you said we're supposed to be filtering life through the lens of gratitude. If that ain't poetic, I don't know what is. But you know, it's so true, and it takes practice to do it. As a person who hadn't practiced it for years, to be practicing it now, I'm already witnessing the power of it. And that brings me to a story tied to what you guys just kind of talked about, like leaving DC to come back home. Like all of our lives were forever changed in those 2 days we spent together. And that's not just from our bonding, but that's also sharing the stage. And then it's also the departure, the exodus, the letting go, the cutting of the umbilical cord of that situation for that moment. For me, it was having to practice gratitude almost immediately. So I'm sitting in Brad's kitchen, preparing, doing some work, looking at the clock, and I know I got to get my flight, but I'm like, well, you know, I got time, and you know how that goes. You look back up a minute later, you don't have no time. I said, oh crap, I got to go. So I started throwing my stuff in the suitcase. I'm like, Brad, we got to ride. I know I have to ride the train. I know it's going to take about 30 minutes to get to the airport. So in my mind, I'm good. But as we all know, man makes plans and God laughs. You know what I'm saying? The train stops 3 stops before the airport. And it's just sitting there. And I hear the little lady say, last stop. You know, and I'm just like, I don't know what that means, but I'm going to the airport. I don't know if it's last stop for them or me or what. And about 2 minutes later, I realize I'm the only one on the train. I'm like, maybe I should get off. I get off the train. I see everybody walking in one direction. I'm like, I guess I got to go that way. To get up the steps, there's a sign that says airport shuttle this way. I'm like, oh, crap. So now I got to ride a shuttle to the airport. This is throwing my day off because I'm already running behind. I get on this bus. First of all, I get on the bus and it's a group of ladies talking in the front. And I don't know why, but it's irritating the crap out of me. And I'm just like, would they shut up? Like, people don't have facial sensitivity. You know, they play their music out loud. They talk like, I mean, this lady was talking at the top of her lungs. I'm like, can you whisper? You talking to the lady next to you, whatever. So every turn this bus makes, and it's one of them long buses, you know, with the 2 sections, they gotta like turn slow. It's people walking across with their stroller. I mean, everything you can imagine is happening to slow this bus down. And I'm like, bruh. But in that moment, I'm like, you know what? I'm thankful I didn't have to walk. I'm thankful I wasn't on a train that got derailed and I'm stuck in the subway. I just started doing that immediately without even thinking about it. It was like second nature. And I felt lighter. I felt better. And I was able to kind of relax. The lady wasn't annoying as much as she used to be. She was annoying, but not as much. And so the bus gets to the airport. And I'm looking at my phone. And it's basically telling me I'm about to miss my flight because I don't have no time. I get off the bus. I'm running with my suitcase. I get up to security. And I'm sprinting, guys. I get up to security and it's the same thing. It's a slow line. The lady in front of me got a baby carriage, all this other stuff. I'm panicking and I'm having to tell myself, it's okay. You're going to be all right. I feel my heart like this. And then I remember what I did on the bus. I said, oh, well, let me put that into practice again. I'm thankful I had legs to run to this point. I'm so thankful that, you know, like, man, I am grateful that I have the ability to pay for a flight. I'm grateful that I can still make my flight. And guess what?
There you go.
To your point in the room, John, and I'm going to be short with this story. I even had to be grateful with the anticipation that things might not work out my way. When things go wrong, can you still be grateful?
That's good.
You know what I'm saying? Can you be grateful about that? So the short end of the story is I get through security. I'm sprinting, like I'm talking running, like Leonardo DiCaprio in one of them films or something, man. This is a movie. I get to the gate area. My gate is B21. I see B16, B17. I look all the way down the hall. My gate is in the middle. I see the lady closing the door and locking it. And I'm like, crap. And I had two choices. I could either believe that I missed my flight and cower down into my feelings, or I can practice gratitude in that moment. I practice gratitude. I say, you know what? Whether I make this flight or not, I'm grateful that I'm going to make a flight and get home to see my family safely.
There you go.
Got to the end of the aisle, talked to the lady. She let me on. I got on my flight. Albeit out of shape. You understand what I'm saying? Out of breath, about to die. I was still thankful. So I just wanted to share that, man. That was my experience leaving DC and my exodus with gratitude.
We gotta underline something. We gotta underline something in that story, man. And it's so subtle, but you mentioned it, and the fact that it hit you twice in two separate situations where you felt that stress level jumping, it was that trigger. The trigger in your mind, whenever it happened, is saying, wait a minute, you need to practice gratitude. That small trigger, gentlemen, and everybody watching, that's what the practice of gratitude is for. It's to get your subconscious to snap in when you in the midst of going crazy. When you in the midst of feeling that all the pressure around you, everything not going the way you want, because sometimes we could take that feeling and run with it, and we'll just be messed up for the rest of the day. Rod could have been in the airport, pissed off. He could have called me up and like, Brad, I ain't never coming back to your city again. Your metro don't work. Y'all be having shuttles too slow. People be all in the street with walkers. People be giving you the side eye while they're closing the door to the plane, telling you can't. He could have called me with any one of that, but because he chose to shift his energy and pick up on the trigger to practice gratitude, that's the value of the whole power of it.
Yeah.
Real talk.
Yeah.
Because when you don't have it, everything goes wrong. But when you do have it, the possibility of stuff going right happens, man.
Yeah, I got to say one last thing because you made me think about it. I text you, Brad, and I was letting you know what was going on. Do you remember what I said to end that I like before I let you go? I said, it's okay. I'm gonna make the flight.
That's right. You did. Yeah.
At that moment when I text you that, I did not believe that, but I was practicing the idea, and I was telling myself, I'm not gonna allow myself to talk and speak this other life that I don't even want to happen. You know what I mean? So I just want to put that on there.
Yeah.
Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen.
It's not seen. Absolutely.
That's what it is. And it don't make no sense. Like if you think about that sentence, it doesn't make sense. It's the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Are you kidding me? The evidence of something that cannot be picked up by one of our biggest senses, our sight. And yet it's the evidence. Evidence is the proof. When you go to court, if somebody got evidence against you, it's a wrap. You cooked. So how solid is the evidence of faith in opening doors? And the way it was triggered was by gratitude. Man, listen. That's it right there, man.
And I just want to be clear. Evidence is not proof. Evidence is details that add up to tell a story that you're trying to tell. Completely different.
Break it down.
Yeah, like when you bring evidence to court, it doesn't prove that this person did anything. You're piling up details that point to a certain story that you're trying to tell. And it's up for somebody else to piece that together to tell the truth of the situation, which we all know in court isn't always the truth. So as it relates to your faith, you're piling up details to tell yourself a story about a certain thing. And what you believe based on the evidence, this detail that you have that are around you, right? That is going to be the story that you tell yourself that you live off of.
Man, how do you drop down the little robe? Man, listen, look at that ninja right there. Stop. Come on with it.
Hey.
Come on with it.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That was powerful. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's really powerful. And when you think about it, it's really a perspective shift because nothing else changed except for your perspective. Everything was still the same. The only thing that changed was you.
Yeah.
And I think about this. Like people will ask in the programs I've been in, like their sponsors, when will it be okay? And this one dude used to always say, it'll be okay Tuesday at 2:00. Cause like they're waiting for that time when everything's gonna be, because we've heard that it's all gonna work out, everything's gonna be okay. Just don't give up. Don't give up 5 minutes before the miracle. But when will it be okay? And he said the Tuesday at 2:00. And every time I've been struggling, and I'm not anymore, I happen to look at the clock. It's Tuesday and it's somewhere around 2:00. And I'm like, okay, I see. It's just the awareness, right? It's bringing it into your awareness. So it may not all be okay Tuesday at 2:00 on the dot, right? But one Tuesday around 2:00, you're going to happen to look at the clock, notice that you're not feeling those feelings you used to feel. And you're going to see Tuesday at 2, and you're going to be like, you know what? He was right. It may have worked out like a week before then, maybe a month before then, but you noticed it Tuesday at 2:00 because that was what was brought into your awareness. I just think it's funny how awareness, right? The only thing that has to change is your perspective, because perspective has the power to change everything without anything ever having to change.
If I could add something to that, perspective is one piece of it. Interpretation is the other, because you do have to absorb it before you interpret it, right? So, Rod, if I can just go a little deeper, right? So, how many of us meditate? Any of us? Everybody? All of us meditate.
I don't do it as often as I should, but I do it.
Okay,
Yeah,
no big deal. All right, so we all meditate, right?
Yeah.
So check this out. Because you meditate, can you confidently say that your whole day is better just because you meditate? Now try to understand what I'm saying. Just because you took 10 minutes to meditate, does that automatically equate to your whole day being better?
No. And let me tell you something, man. When I first started meditating, it was I'm focused. I'm letting my thoughts pass. I'm zen. And then I'd get out of the meditation. Something would go wrong. I'm like, you just messed up my whole meditation session. I was not good at that.
So this is the point. The point is that's the same for all of us, right? So there's a difference between meditation and living within a meditative state. There's a huge distinction between the two, and people rarely see it or understand it because they don't allow themselves the opportunity to get to that point. It's like that old adage that you start digging for gold, and right before you get there, you stop, right? It's that kind of thing. So, Rod, what happened was you've been able to understand, right, that your state of being can no longer exist without gratitude. So now you're not meditating, you're living in a meditative state.
Whoa.
So your state of being has shifted, right? So you're no longer living in a primal. Oh, this guy. So you're no longer living in a primal, you're living in a powerful or a progressive state of being. You're not going to allow yourself, because as you stated, and it's your pillow, you're aware of it now, right? So you're consciously aware of your state of being. So that being has to shift. It can't stay negative. It can't stay mad. It can't stay angry. And if we do, because we all will, we're able to reset quickly. Understand, everybody who's listening and my brothers, it's not a matter of let me stay positive and I gotta blah, 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 and all this rah stuff. No, it's about you're going to face situations and circumstances that are beyond your control. How do I respond in those moments? And what is the state of being in which I want to live? So you set your standard, your bar. And we set it with gratitude. And everything else, it works out. So, for example, going back to the other point, are we good with that one before I shift?
Yeah, we're good. Yeah.
So
Okay.
good. Yeah.
So So I'm gonna shift real quick, going back to everybody's point about, that, like Brad said, that moment of it ended, it's no more, we're done, like that moment of disconnect. So for me, my frame is a little different. What I see from that is the anticipation of our next encounter. So I look at it as I had the opportunity to spend time with my brothers. And if I don't leave, I can't feel the desire to want to do it again.
Mm.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's the same thing that we had a brief conversation about partners and relationships and how we're always together. Being together is great, and being with your partner is a beautiful thing, but you need time. You need to disconnect. Why? We have to miss each other, and that's okay. You see what I'm saying? So for me, it's like, wow, I had this amazing experience.
Yeah.
And I get to leave now. I get the privilege of leaving now and getting it again. And even if I don't, I still had it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Song it don't get no better
head.
than that.
No.
Go ahead. Come on.
Because you don't know what you got till it's gone.
Yeah.
For real. But that's so real, man.
Yeah. So
I want to just address something that Greg said a minute ago before I lose it. Greg, you said something so powerful. I don't even know. Like, we could do a whole episode on this, but you said nothing changed in the situation but my perception.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way I perceive things changed me, which changed the situation slightly. Yeah. But just in general, the situation was the situation. But when you said it, it made me think, if I didn't practice gratitude in those moments that I did, there's no telling what would have happened, right? I'm not saying I would have missed my flight, but what I am saying is the chances of me missing it would have gone up greatly because I was already irritable. I would have been defeated. I wouldn't have been running as fast, all type of stuff. But one part of the story I didn't share, when I got to the gate to get the lady to let me in, I was completely out of breath. And I said in a struggling tone, "Hey, is it still time for me to make the flight? Can I get on?" And I'm doing this, right? Because I'm panicking trying to get in the door. She didn't say nothing to me. It was two other people right there with her. They didn't even look my way. They just kept typing on their computer, looking straight. Bro, they were silent for about 30 seconds. Now, when you're trying to get on a flight, you out of breath, lady on the bus been irritating you and all this stuff going on, and this lady gonna ignore me? Yeah. I was so ready to snap. So ready. But in that moment, I'm like, you know what? No, just maybe she had a long day. Maybe she didn't hear you. I started doing that. Started thinking positively. You know what I'm saying? I just sat there silent. And then I repeated it one more time to make sure they heard me. I said, "Is it still time for me to get on the flight?" And she said, "Just 1 second." You know how they do in customer service sometimes. So to you, my perception of the entire situation could have gone left right there. And I would have been on TikTok. "I didn't do nothing, man. Get off me. I'm just trying to get home." You understand what I'm saying?
Calm down, sir.
I am calm. Your perception and how you respond to John's point, it matters greatly. It matters greatly. Yeah. Brad, what you got? I hear your thoughts over there.
I feel like somebody who's watching this, even one of us, probably gonna get tested with that this week just to put it into practice. Now, the wonderful thing about it is, those who just hear me say, don't be afraid of the opportunity to practice. Welcome it, because without it, you're never really gonna perfect it. Just like anything you try to get at. It does this practice of gratitude and this power of gratitude, does it really work? Well, see for yourself. Yeah, see for yourself. Because we can tell you about it all day long, and you can hear our stories and our testimonies, but until you experience it for yourself, until then, it's not going to resonate. Yeah, it's not going to have resonance, as John would say. So until that happens, man, because we know as men, man, stuff can shift during the day at any given point. We can wake up, have a plan, of set things we want to accomplish and do for the day, and that could either go like that or it won't. And how you react, especially when it doesn't go the way that you want it to, that's the difference, man. And the reason why that's important, I believe, especially for men, is because people naturally look at us for the leadership in a family, in a community. The men are supposed to be the leaders. And this isn't anything against our sisters at all. I'm just going from the divine design that was set in place. Adam was created first, and there were specific rules for him before even came into the situation. So when I look at that, it's like you gotta maintain yourself. You gotta practice gratitude. You gotta have that trigger to say, "Hey, slow down, take a breath." Now you got an opportunity to practice. Because I believe when that happens, we're actually exercising, our godliness, man. How many times could the Most High have destroyed any one of us for sinning or going against His law, or doing our own fools? Like, how many times?
Yeah.
Could we have been thrown out with the bathwater? Like seriously. And yet we get another day full of grace, another day of sunshine, another day to converse.
Can
Another day
I
to get it
offer
right.
a slight reframe? You said we gotta at least 4 or 5 times. One simple reframe could change that whole thing through the lens of gratitude. Can I offer it?
Mhm.
We don't gotta do nothing.
Mm.
We get to.
Ooh.
It's an opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Well, move it over. Just do it. Just do it. Just
I'm
I
not
said-
doing it for the road, but like really just that one word from have to, it goes from begrudging and it becomes a lens through which you can view it as, man, I get to have eggs. Yeah, I get to have eggs because they got real expensive at one point. We were still buying the 60 pack. Come on. No, I get to have legs that hurt because I have legs, right? I can feel below my waist. I get to have the struggles and the complaints. I was watching this reel earlier and this dude was talking about, man, business owners would trade your petty grievances and complaints any day for not having to worry about payroll and putting fires out all the time and not being able to disconnect from what happens in a business, right? You don't turn off. I would love for someone to just get my Starbucks order wrong and that'd be the height of my problems, right? It's perspective, right? At the end of the day, but that's it. Just, I get to. I don't have to. I get to because I'm here. And that's not like a knock on you saying that. It's just we don't even realize we're doing it when we do it. We don't got to do nothing. We get to.
Mhm.
Now, someone say something powerful so y'all can get this robe off of me. It's hot.
Well, I don't want to say
What's
that
going on,
powerful, but
Maurice?
You said something that reminded me of that story I told you I wanted to say about the pain thing, the no pain thing. I was reading an article about Tony Dungy's, the ex-head football coach, of his son who passed away at a young age. I think he was like 18 or 19 or something like that. Apparently, he had this CIPA, I think they call it. It's basically insensitivity to pain. And I mean, when I say pain, I mean like he couldn't feel any pain to the point where he had 70 surgeries in his lifetime because of broken bones and things like that. Because as a kid, especially a boy, you run bunkers, you climbing trees, jump down, keep going. You don't even know you broke your leg. Your arm on fire, you just walking around like everything regular because you don't know. And so like the doctors basically predicted he would die at a young age, like 4 or 5, because of this thing. And obviously he survived a little longer than that. And we won't talk about his death or anything, but the bottom line is this: pain is not here to cause us hurt. Pain is here to stop us from being hurt worse. Without pain, you have no indicator to tell you that you've gone too far and you should turn around. You have no indicator to say, man, this thing over here is actually good for you. You thought it was in a bad thing, but this pain over here is teaching you that this is actually good for you. And so when I read that story and I realized that's a real thing where people actually can't feel pain, I'm like, we should never complain about pain ever again. It should be a moment of gratitude. It should be a moment where we say, wow, I don't like this feeling, but I'm so glad that I had the ability to feel it so that I can move away from this thing that's causing me this pain. Because imagine staying with a girl, because we guys, right, who's causing you pain and you don't even know she causing you pain. She just ripping your bank account left and right, or cheating on you, or doing whatever, right? And you have no clue. You just living the life. That will really cause a lot of damage later on. But if you can find that out a little early on because the pain is visible and it hurts, oh man, that's going to change your trajectory, hopefully. I mean, hopefully. But relating it back to like physical pain, it's the same thing. If I'm in a room that is too hot and I can't tell, I'm going to die. You know what I mean?
Wow. Yeah.
So it's not to cause discomfort so that we can be anguished and feel bad about our lot in life. It's to cause enough discomfort to make us move, because otherwise we wouldn't move. So I just want to put that out there, man. I thought that story was intriguing, and I think that sometimes we mislabel pain, and we need to reframe that into an opportunity for us to move somewhere different.
Well, that and humans, like, we have a prediction machine up here, and for our survival, we'll predict the worst case scenarios to survive. And so we are less likely to move towards pleasure than we are to move away from pain. So it's actually like we're designed to experience pain so that we know where to not go. But when's the last time you really moved towards pleasure? Like, you know what's good for you. You know what would feel better, what would do better, be better in your life. But you don't really move until something major happens, right? You get the heart attack, you get your body starts hurting because of atrophied muscles. Like, there's something that has to go wrong for you to wake up. Lord forbid you get cancer, right? Now you want to eat right and take care of yourself, or some kind of major emergency. But this whole time you knew to take care of yourself, eat right, sleep, all these things. But it isn't until the painful moment that you want to do something about it. And
pain
I've been there.
You to move.
That's
why pain causes you to move. And it's unfortunate. Some people have to learn that way. Some people learn by watching others. Some people learn by somebody telling them not to do it. But some people have to touch the pan. I don't want to see if it's hot.
That was me. I had to.
That's all of us, Greg, at some point or another.
Yeah. John been real quiet for a minute here.
Look, John and Brad are sitting back being entertained by you, Greg. That's why they're so quiet. They're observers today. They're experiencing this as if they're not a part of it. They're like sitting back watching. I love it. I'm gonna sit back and watch too. Go ahead, Greg. Keep talking.
John, Brad, y'all, thanks for tuning into my live.
They coming for you, Brad. You better say something quick.
Introspection. I'm used to it, man. Probably all the circles I've been in have been the quietest one. You observe a lot, so you learn a lot. Man, I can't disagree with anything that's been said. Not at all. Especially the limits of pain, man, and what it'll actually make you do. I like it. I like pain for the fact that it shows me how far I can go before I don't got no more. But, and I'll use this analogy, one of my favorite, I can't even call it a cartoon, bro, because it really wasn't no cartoons ain't like this. Dragon Ball Z, fam. That joint was not a cartoon. That was an animated action feature. Because when you hitting people through mountains and through the earth and stuff like that and flaring up, I was like, that was just the adrenaline I needed. But there's one thing about the Saiyan race, which if you've never watched the show, is the main protagonist and think like the main adversary. They both Saiyan. It's like whenever they get into a fight, if they get beat within an inch of their life, they're guaranteed to come back twice as strong. Like their power level is like twice as strong the next time they fight. They can recuperate. It's like guaranteed. And I looked at that concept and I was like, when I go to the gym and I lift and my muscle rips and I can't do no more, it's funny when I come back there about a week or 2 weeks later, now I can do that way a little bit easier now. Like when I come back better.
Mm-hmm.
They were talking about this NBA finals. Maybe some people have heard about it. I'm just a New York fan. What do I know? But a lot of the pundits in the sports talkers were saying, like, New York needs this, man, the experience. They got the experience. And then I remember Charles said something, Charles Barkley, he was like, Wemby needs the sting of defeat. He's gonna get his chip one day, but it might not be now because the Knicks are just playing too well, playing ball. But you need the sting of defeat in order to come back and make you hungry to reascend to that mountaintop and like really appreciate that victory. And you think about all the greats, they suffered loss. Shaq suffered loss, Kobe suffered loss, Jordan definitely suffered loss. And without that as a driver, I've seen so many people use that as fuel to get to the next level. And it propelled them probably further than they thought that they would go because of the sting of defeat, because of the pain. This whole life is wrapped up. It's wrapped up in both of those things, the pleasure and the pain, man. So just enjoy and embrace both of them because they serve a purpose. It ain't gonna kill you. It's not gonna kill you. I used to throw that in my mind all the time when I was going through something difficult. I was like, this ain't gonna take me out. So let's go. And that would be like my baseline. Like if I fell all the way to the bottom and I was just feeling bad, that would be the last thought I would have. And that came straight from the Father. I was like, this ain't gonna kill me. Ain't my time. And so if it ain't, let's go.
Life is wrapped up in pain and pleasure. But to that point, man, don't ride the wave of pleasure so high that you fall all the way down. Like you got to learn how to enjoy it in modesty and all of that good stuff, right? Same way you shouldn't be so down on your luck and feeling so bad when things ain't working out. It's about being in that middle some kind of way and maintaining that. You know, when you have success, cherish it, but don't get the big head like you can't, you know what I'm saying, be back down in the gutter. And when things are bad, don't feel like you the only one. Like you're not. It's a lot of people going through a lot of things, and it could always be worse. So yeah, man, I just say take it the same, like you said, but don't be too high or low on either one.
Yeah, it's interesting you say. Go ahead.
You sure?
Yeah.
I don't want you to lose your thought now.
I'm gonna remember this because it's all right. So I had a friend reach out to me. She always kind of checks in periodically, and she's another YouTuber, content creator. But I noticed that she was checking in, and I would tell her, but I wouldn't really ask about her. It was just like, well, she's checking in with me, but I just thought to ask because I don't like the question, "How are you?" So I said, "How are you?" And she explained why she reaches out. She said, whenever something throws my nervous system off, I call to check in with other people to see how they're doing to kind of offset it.
Wow.
And I thought about that. I was like, that's what we were trained to do in 12-step programs. Like, are you calling another recovering addict? How are you serving someone else? Because when you call someone else to check in on them, your brain can't be on your problems. You're listening to theirs. And then all of a sudden you hear their problems and you're like, well, my problems ain't that big. Right. So that was just what that made me think of is sometimes you got to get out of yourself and hear someone else.
That goes to the point. And then I'll go back to the other stuff that I was going to say. But if we recall at the event, Darian asked a very specific question, Brother Darian. And it was the point that I was making to him that if you find someone or you know of someone that is in a very dark space, if you allow them to see you in a vulnerable state, it takes them out of that state. And that's exactly what that is. Brad, to the Dragon Ball Z piece, one of the things that, and again, for those who haven't seen it, I encourage you to see it because it's a very entertaining show and there's a lot of good little nuggets in it for sure. But one of the biggest pieces that I want to make sure people understand is one of the things they demonstrated was the resilience. So they never gave up, right? even in their darkest moments, there was always hope, or there was always something pulling them out, not necessarily pushing them through. Okay. It was the thought of their family being well, or their family potentially being hurt, and they're the saviors, and so on and so forth. So there was this sense, there was this resilience that they always displayed, right? Especially Goku and Vegeta, which are the two main characters. You know, so yeah, so that was really the thing I wanted to add. There was something else, but I lost my train of thought. There was something about what Rod said earlier that I wanted to hint on, but it'll come to me if it's meant to be said.
You're great at recall. You're going to recall it soon.
I appreciate it.
I love it. So, Brad, John, do y'all have any stories where you had to like truly apply your faith, or practice it in a moment, whether it worked out for you or not? Like, I don't think like every faith story is not going to be something where it all magically came together. Sometimes you truly believe in a thing and then it falls through. So I'm curious, and you too, Greg, of any, as we get closer to our close for tonight, any moments where you had to put faith to practice, regardless of the outcome of it, but you stood ground on believing a thing and actually had to put it into practice despite what the circumstances were showing you.
I have one. Many moons ago, in another life, I had decided to do what I wanted to do, how I wanted to do it. And that meant that I was in the streets being someone I'm not proud of. And what ended up happening was I knew that my time was coming. So I turned myself in. In those moments, I didn't feel nothing. I was numb. It was what it was. Like, all right, let's go. But when I came out, I had nowhere to go. So I was living out of a suitcase. And I spent at least a couple months just roaming around. And interestingly enough, what happened at that time, this is between June and July of 2007. What ended up happening was my son was born in the midst of all that stuff. And this is my first biological son, my first boy. And his mom and I, or my wife at the time and I, were separated. We had spent a year separated, and I was out doing my thing. Like I said, it ended up the way it did. Long story short, I would go visit him every Sunday at the apartment they were staying. So I would go take a shower, eat something, spend some time with my son, and then back outside. And one Sunday, she grabbed me. She said, there's no reason for you to go. Just stay here. I'm like, nah, I can't. I left. And she consistently did that for probably 3 weeks or so until I stayed. And then I decided not to shave because I needed to bear the guilt and shame of who I was at that time. The moral of the story for me, to the point that Rod is making, have I ever been in that situation? The only thing that kept me even willing to come back, besides the fact that I had a son, was the fact that I had the privilege of having a place to go and see them. I had the privilege to be able to move around. And I walked in gratitude in those moments, whether it was holding the door open for someone, while they were going in to get something to eat, and then ask, hey, if you don't mind, can you buy me something to eat? Or if I happen to go to a family member, and try to be as polite, and always with gratitude first. You know what I mean? So for me, gratitude is really, really, it has to do with a state of being. You can't just preach it. You can't just, graze over it here and there or whatever. You have to live in that state. You have to. Because if you don't, you're living in everything else. And if you look at everything else, everything is complicated. Gratitude is easy. Gratitude is easy. Because I could be dead. I could be dead. I could be whatever else. I could be paralyzed. I could be mute. I can be dead. It can be all kinds of things. But I'm here and I'm sharing my story and I'm okay. Like, I was able to have the love of someone expressed by saying, hey, don't leave. It's okay. We're going to figure this out. And we did for a long time, almost 20 years. I mean, it's like you can't make this stuff up. So that's my take.
Wow. We're gonna have to unpack that one of these days, man. I wanna know all the details. That's a powerful story already, I can tell. Brad, Greg, y'all got anything as we close out?
I do. I'm trying to think of how fast I can tell this story.
Exactly. That's why I'm laughing. I was like,
I'm sorry. That's my fault.
No. I think we can all. I can tell the premise of it is buying a home. It's something we thought we could never do. And we started in 2016, 17. Just go, and I just convinced my wife, let's just go and just look at them. At least if they tell us no, we'll know what we need to fix in order to get it. Like we'll know what direction we need to go in. Yeah. And as we were looking, houses were around 170, maybe 210 back then. By the time we got our stuff together and really got focused on it, houses were up to 400,000.
Oh, wow.
And the down payments were anywhere from 40 to 80,000. I'm like, there's no way. Who has that much money just kind of laying around in a bank account? Like we were competing against, right? Besides Brad, just California was moving out here to Texas. They're paying 2-3 times the houses prices just to, and buying up all the houses, and there was no way to compete. And we started that journey and got real serious in 2022. And right as we got our credit all together and everything, our son has a seizure driving and ends up in a ditch or in the creek. And just so happens that an officer was right behind him when that happened, or else no one would have been able to find him and he would have drowned. So the officer saw the whole thing happen. He had just stopped him because he was sitting at a stop sign too long. He was having one of those, I forgot what they call it, right before a seizure. So that's why he was there. The officer just thought he was tired, so he let him go. Then he seized. And so that right there totaled his car. We were dealing with insurance. That equaled a late payment. Then that hit my credit 100 points down for that. But I was grateful our son was alive. This is the same son that got married this last Saturday. Nice. And so we were about to get the house somewhere around June, July. That was delayed for another 3-4 months while we rebuilt our credit. There was all this arguing with like the credit bureaus, Honda Financial, all this stuff. And when we finally got approved for the third time, because we got denied 3 times, when we finally got approved the third time and things started going in motion, there was just a few more things to do. Then we had to sign this Bible full of papers for the mortgage. When we finally got the thing to move in, we got our keys and signed it all, it was December 8th of 2022. The place where we were renting our house gave us July or January's rent was like $200. So we didn't even have to pay January. December was paid for. So we had 2 months to move in leisurely. We didn't have to break a lease. Like looking back, it all worked out just the way it was supposed to. But in that moment, going up to it, it didn't feel like anything was going to happen. And then you get in the house and I'm like, you know what? We're in here now. I don't think I make enough to pay for this. Like now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if I can afford this really. Well, I tell them I got the house. Then they tell me I'm getting laid off in a couple weeks. And I was like, okay, this is God like setting everything up to show off. I did not panic once. I said, I'm gonna get another job in a week. It's gonna be double the income. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened in that order. Because I spoke it, I believed it, and I didn't worry. I just saw it happening. I'd been seeing it. I kept saying I was going to double my income multiple times. And then I got there and it happened. And it was surreal. I think it scared me for like the first 6 months. Like, was this a fluke? Did I mess up? Like, I'm still kind of sitting here in shock. But it felt like things weren't going to work out. And in hindsight, everything worked out exactly as it should have. And everything made more sense looking back, like why things ended up happening the way they happened. And I feel like the end of whatever journey I'm going through right now, I'm going to look back and be like, oh, that's why all that happened. Because I wouldn't have been able to sustain this with that old me.
Yep.
Brad,
That's a
take
great
us out,
story.
man. Thank you. That's God. That's God all the way. I couldn't have planned that.
2020. Always.
Yeah.
So
I like to say
Brad,
hindsight
we
is
don't have
2019.
to go through yours, man. But
We got time. Let's make it work.
All right.
I mean, mine is quick. It makes me laugh every time I think. That's why I was laughing when you asked the question, because the thing that popped up. I was in community college taking a course that I had skipped in my regular undergrad because I thought it wasn't important. Turns out it was for me to graduate. So I had to take it in summer school to community college, and it was a math course. And I had been constantly telling myself that I'm bad at math until I met this professor who made physics as easy as ABC 1, 2, 3. And he gave me all the formulas I needed at the beginning of class with the syllabus, and I used them in my calculator. I got A's on every test. And then it came down to the final, which had big weight to your overall grade. And I went to take the test on the wrong day. And I missed the entire test. And I remember walking into the classroom, which was empty, and standing there with my jaw wide open because I was proud of the effort that I put in. I had been doing well in the math course, which was alien to me at that time. And I did not know what was going to happen. And I left. I got back in the car and I was like, God, you saw everything. So I'm going to leave it to you. Get my report card 2 weeks later, I got an A. What can I say? That's how when you just give it up and give it to God in the last moment, you don't know how it's going to turn around. Professor gave me an A. And I did not take the final. Missed it completely. Missed it. So yeah, man, I don't know what's going on in your life right now. Maybe going upside down. You may not know how things are going to work out. But if you try just to add a little bit of gratitude, take a breath and say, okay, I'm going to make the plane. Take a breath and say, everything's going to work out. Everything's going to be all right. If you do that, who knows what could happen? I tell you what, it won't go in a negative way if you just have a little bit of gratitude and a little bit of faith. That has been our presentation, or actually our show, our podcast this evening. We run a little bit over time, but we're glad that you stayed with us to the end. To the brothers Maurice and Daryl, we see you up in here, man. Continue spreading that word. Continue doing the good work out there at Miracle City Church. We're thankful that you joined us. And again, if anybody has any stories like this to share, put them in the comment section. Let us know. Put them in the community, the GFB community. We're going to leave a link to that community also underneath this video after everything is said and done, so that you guys can jump in and experience some of this gratitude full hand live. But until next Tuesday, 7 p.m., we hope that the Most High blesses and keeps you until then. On behalf of the GFB, peace.